he talks about Greenland and Canada, and he's making, so people are wondering, okay, what should I pay attention to? Each of these is more outrageous than the other one.
Yeah.
But what I find curious about this time is you don't hear him talking about cutting tax rates, but I think that is the sleeper here.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's the sleeper. I hope so too. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yes. And I do know that Art Laffer is in contact with President Trump, and
that's good.
Yes, it's very good. And he was in the first administration.
Yes.
So Trump got our corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%. Think about that.
Huge.
How did he get it? So that was for corporations. He's now focused on making sure the right demographic, that he's not favoring the wealthy. Well, those 3 tax cuts are not, or tax eliminations, which is really amazing. But I do think it's behind the scenes, they're working on this. And when the market figures this out, I think the market will go crazy.
Yeah, I think, the key criticism I would essay against Trump is that he doesn't explain the intellectual underpinnings for his policies. He just puts the most outrageous positioning of that policy in people's face.
But there is a method there, because I don't think Putin would treat him with the respect that he does because he doesn't know what this quote unquote crazy man is going to do to Russia. Right. Or to China or to Iran.
I understand that's the theory. I understand it, but the intellectual in me would prefer to have the intellectual.
But maybe our role, your role, my role, is to delineate. And because if you think about the sound bites on mass media, that's for mass media. And they don't care about this particular, look at the 250% tax that, the Canadians would have to pay on our milk. Now, maybe milk, maybe eggs, I don't know, maybe, since that's so basic, maybe we should do that.
You just sparked an idea in my head. You know how we used to have these For Dummies books?
Yes.
We need a sort of for intellectuals.
That's good.
He goes straight to the dummy level.
Yeah.
We need to explain to the intellectuals, guys, there's really a great deal of, intellectual rigor behind this, and this is the explanation. Give them all the high words. I think
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe we should partner.
Collaborate on that.
I'll write a little outline and see how you think about that. Yeah.
I think it would be fantastic.
Okay.
I do.
I will.
I do, and I think they need it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think they need it. Because what they're trying to do is break through all of the noise.
Yeah.
And most people are not going to sit there for an intellectual argument.
Yeah, he throws the bomb, but behind that bomb is this deep intellectual thought, and here it is for the intellectuals.
And, again, Art will not work in any administration. Well, he's 85 now, and he wants to go out. Talk about Nobel Prize winning. He is going to countries. He's working in Argentina, El Salvador, Suriname, and some countries, I think in Africa as well. Anyone who will invite him, he is giving back and trying to help countries.
Yes, 85.
Yes. And one of the most interesting things is, and you may have heard me say this on Brainstorm, but when we had Art review our paper on Bitcoin in 2015, because it's an economic argument, it's all money. And he's not only an expert on fiscal policy, but also monetary policy. And speaking of Nobel Prize winners, Robert Mundell won a Nobel Prize for his monetary theory. That was Art's mentor. So, but he tore the paper apart and which was great. I loved that because I knew it was going to be intellectually rigorous from an economist point of view. But at the end, he said, it was almost as though he's going through a catharsis now he's becoming younger, because he said, this is what I've been waiting for since we closed the gold window in 1971. The reason that hit him so hard is he was in the Nixon administration. He was the head of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, and he was against closing the gold window. And he made it known. I think that's why he's never been a part of another administration. He just offers advice for free. And so I think he feels that Bitcoin will vindicate that massive error, or not vindicate, will start to overturn that massive error, and he can be a part of the movement that does that. So he's done events at Bitcoin Park in Nashville, Tennessee, which is where he lives.
I didn't realize it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He is so excited about Bitcoin. Rules-based, private.
Yeah. I can see
global monetary system.
Yeah, it would align very closely. Yeah. And maybe he should have invented it. The Satoshi thing, the miracle of the Satoshi thing is just insufficiently explored.
Yes. Oh, I know. There is, I don't know if you've heard this, but there is a hypothesis out there that Jack Dorsey is Satoshi, and
I've heard that. But I kind of discount it. Why do I discount it? I don't know why I discount it. I think because of Jack's demeanor. I don't know why. It's possible. It's possible. I mean,
there's so Matt Siegel. He actually used to work on my team at Alliance Bernstein. He had been a Bloomberg journalist, and he's done some investigational work and is coming up with some very interesting coincidences. So,
which means that so the golden wallet, the owner is still alive in that case, which is quite an interesting situation.
If it were true. If it were true.
Yeah. Wow.
If it were true.
Wow.
That'd be pretty mind-blowing.
Wow, it would be.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, I tell you, this has been a dream for me. ARC has become a huge emblem in my mind of the times we're living in. And, I'm so convinced of the thesis. I'm so committed to the thesis that, for me, this is a very important, what is the word? When one goes to a religious shrine, it's been a moment.
Oh, this has been wonderful for us. It's been wonderful. And, we just have to keep doing this together. Yeah. We do. Yeah. There are so many people who believe that we'll fail. And yet I am as confident now that these technologies are going to transform everything as I was at, that very early stage in my career, that, interest rates and inflation were going to come down. And I think the economic roots, being able to understand the power behind lower tax rates, increasing productivity, how innovation's the new creation.
I'll give you a little bit of wisdom from my 60, 70 years in innovation. Everything takes longer, and then it suddenly takes less time.
Right.
It's like, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. And then when it happens at such warp speed that you don't even realize that you're in the midst of the change.
Well, what's happening, just to give you a sense of how crazy things are out there, there are companies, CRISPR Therapeutics in our portfolio, that are curing disease.
Yep.
And when we talk about it, the traditional world actually is shorting it. Why? They think cures
is a bad thing.
Bad business. You lose the daily annuity, you know, the pill and our multiomics team with the leadership of Brett Winton has concluded, and you can see it in our Big Ideas 2025, has concluded that cures could be worth 20 times more than because you avoid the patent cliff.
Yeah.
And they're developing so much more quickly than old therapies that these patent lives, up to 21 years, are going to be worth so much more.
Yeah.
So I find it, I feel, so the conviction we had about Tesla in early days of ARC, that's the conviction we have around multiomics now. And the disbelief around it is worse than the disbelief was around production hell with Tesla.
You speak to Kennedy, Robert Kennedy about it?
You know what? I have met him in conjunction with crypto. Because that's where he was placing a lot of emphasis in the day, in terms of getting to know the investment community. We have not. We would love to do a podcast with him.
I think it's probably the right time to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
It would be awesome to be able to make that happen.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that should be the next objective.